Speak English. You don't speak English. You be
Speak English.
Who speaks English now, sir? Speak English. Who speaks Karuna Kon? Okay. Which police should you mention in name? Ugba DPO. Now Karuna Kon. Okay. Now Ugba DPO Karuna Kon. Okay, no problem. Okay. I know that they stay. You know, this are you in Nigeria? Huh? Are you in Nigeria? Why they tell me say see your ID card? Bring the ID card. Come. Give me. Call the person when you want to call. DPO for Ugba. Okay. No, sorry. Where the DPO? The FPA, yes.
Thank you for coming on this platform. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. We are seeing development where it's like there's a mass exit of terrorist kingpins from the northern part of the country trying to flood the southern part of the country, and with a lot of concentration in Edo State. We are seeing a lot of kingpins now being, captured by the locals. What does this actually portend? Is it they are running away from U.S. government, or they are just trying to muster the muscle to begin their normal onslaught against the southern Nigeria?
Thank you for having me. I'm going to tell you that this is a record development. This is one of the things the Fulani Tërrorist fear the most. This is one of the situations they never wanted to happen. In Auchi, in Uromi, in Ekmoma, they have been holding sway, adopting people, demand for ransom. And I'm going to tell you that this is happening at the same time federal government have seriously kickstarted the issue of state police. Because the new Inspector General of Police talking about Dusu have come out clearly to set up a committee to collaborate with every other stakeholder to make this happen. As you have it, the most notorious Fulani terrorist wanted person in Edo State have been crushed. And this is happening even as the authorities, the armed forces, arrested 4 Fulani terrorists in the same Edo State yesterday or so. I'm going to tell you that this is what we want. Because all we want to be seeing, hearing is the decimation of the terrorists, arresting them, prosecuting them, to act as deterrent to others. I've been saying it and I keep saying it because I feel the essence cannot be overemphasized, that it is a legitimate thing to neutralize terrorists in the field, in the battlefield. It's a legitimate thing to arrest, prosecute them, to act as deterrent to others, whichever comes first. That is why I totally disagree with the position of Dima Gumi, who from the beginning have always discouraged federal government from using kinetic approach to fight these bandits or other terrorists, who even at some point asked federal government to discontinue with every collaboration with the American government. And personally, I've always maintained that if not for any other thing, on this, I stand with federal government. On this, I stand with Tinubu, that we must find solution to this. This is not far-fetched, if I'm telling you, Mr. Chinedu, because with what we are currently, life has become worthless, become meaningless. Look at a Kwara state that was once a peaceful community environment has become an epicenter of terrorism. A situation where even in Woro community, over 270 persons were disallowed just in one day. You begin to wonder, to ask, what is the problem of these people? What do they want? Even the same people who profess the same faith with them, they are killing them. So for me, what I desire is, as is happening in Edo State, let us see the same thing being replicated in other parts of the country. A situation where we should deny the space to operate. That is why I've been saying that the success we started seeing in Kogi State through the armed forces in collaboration with the locals, that we want to start seeing it replicated in other places. I think we have now begun to see it in Edo State. A welcome development, I will tell you, and more so is happening at the same time. Nigerian government has solidified their partnership with the American government. Do not forget that even as we speak, American boots are already on ground here in Nigeria, after they voted $430 million, which is equivalent to 59 billion naira to fight terrorism in Nigeria and Africa in general. In all of this, I must say it's a welcome development that we want to continue this trajectory. That the government, talking about federal government, should ignore every voice that seeks to discourage government in doing this. Because whether we like it or not, these are people who have no value for human life, judging by their modus operandi. I'm going to tell you that the thing was already getting to a very worrisome situation. A situation where they were already writing ransom letters, sending letters to communities, to individuals. Once they notice you are worthy, you have resources, they send you letter, they demand that X amount of money should be paid, and if you fail to do that, you will be kidnapped. In case in hand is a man who came out clearly to explain that when he receives such ransom letter, that he have no option, he have to pay, judging by the consequence. The consequence is demise. So for me, all this is a work of development. We even started seeing a situation where they will even look at the family, a lady that is pretty, that is, of course, that looks fine. They will demand that such girl that is beautiful should be surrendered to them. They do with the girl whatever pleases them before they return such person. I must say that we cannot continue this trajectory. Life is sacrosanct as far as I'm concerned, and as a people, as a government, we must do everything within the ambits of the law to protect the sanctity of human life.
Why you still putting so much hope on this government that has failed, and there's so much suspicion around them being part of the sponsorship?
It's not about putting hope on the government. It's about, in the way it stands, the government we have currently is the government in place. Until we have the alternative, we cannot say that life should continue to be wasted since we have not parted ways. Currently, what we have is the current status quo is where we have the authorities of government that have the mandate to protect lives and properties of Nigerians. So we cannot say we should stop the protection of lives and properties of Nigerians and wait until perhaps a Biafra come. I don't think things are done like that. Even if you are expecting a sovereign state, that does not mean lives and properties of people cannot be protected.
But with the position of some northern elders who have gone online, who are addressing issues like this, both within and outside the country, are insisting that these guys are fighting for their rights. You know, and the recent one was quite embarrassing when we see some of them coming out to say very clearly that, you know, they are their brothers and they should be protected. I'm talking about the northern elites. You know, are you not really worried that the support these people are getting, the federal government might find it very difficult to continue to push a certain narrative up to this moment, you know, that is full of sabotage? So where are we expecting government to do more in this regard? Do we start to see these people being apprehended, arrested, or questioned in whichever way, just to make sure that Nigeria have the required security ahead of 2027 election?
Thank you. Talking about sabotage, I must say that I'm as worried as you are. There's no argument about that. We have heard so many stories about sabotage. Even Jonathan, as his time as president, was emphatic. There is government, there are some sympathizers of terrorists, Boko Haram to be in particular. But this is the very reason we encourage the president that Nigeria, particularly the patriotic ones, are with you on this. I must say that even when the new Minister of Defense, talking about Christopher Musa, told Nigerians, who we all celebrated his appointment, that he was going to investigate who got the order that some military personnel who were guarding Kevin School withdrawn 30 minutes before the attack and abduction of those children, that Nigerians are worried that up to now, that Christopher Musa have not been able to do anything in that regard. More so as the man Christopher Musa told Nigerians and the world that he was only going to investigate the circumstances surrounding the alignment of that, of course, high-ranking military personnel. I think he was a military lieutenant who was disallowed. That Nigerians are equally waiting and expecting what the minister will do. So I'm worried as you are talking about the sabotage. That is why we are happy with this collaboration with the American government, particularly as they are the one that will drive, or rather will be driving the issue that has to do with the intelligence aspect of this fight against terrorism. Because what that does is, going forward, every aspect of sabotage has to do with intelligence will no longer be the case. Because to have it, if there are areas where the armed forces need to go into operation, maybe for precision bombing, as we used to hear in the past, that some persons in the higher authority will always use their position to frustrate effort of the armed forces to go for such operation. Hence, American personnel are the one that will drive the process. I want to say that would have been dealt with, because it's unthinkable that you go and approach an American military personnel who are in Nigeria to go and join you in that collaboration. Because to have it, we understand that 100 troops were deployed when they landed in Maiduguri, and report having that about 100 extra will join their colleagues students. Even as the American government, like I said earlier on, already voted about $430 million to fight this cause. So for me, I'm as worried as you are, and I totally agree that we have issue of sabotage. So that will not deter us from doing the needful. That's why I encourage every right-thinking member of the society that on this, we must support the government, if not for anything, to fight the terrorism. Let me tell you that if those terrorists who came to burn down a police station were dealt with whenever they were staged, they would not have the time to come to start wreaking havoc. And I keep saying one thing, that military base that was compromised, I think in Brno also, talking about the essence of the synergy between the armed forces and the locals. If there were enough synergy between the armed forces and the locals, I want to say that before those terrorists got close to the military base where they compromised it, that perhaps the local could have gotten wind of the movement of the bandits or other terrorists, and they could have given such intelligence to the armed forces who needed for operation, and they could have nipped that sabotage or rather attack in the bud. But unfortunately, I don't think we had such collaboration. That's why I always like the position of the man Ajayi talking about the Director General of DSS. Started this discussion about drafting the locals, because according to him, that the locals should be empowered to be the front line of defense in case of invasion. He only cited about 2 instances, one in Shiro local government area of Niger State, one in Bauchi State, one local government area of Bauchi State, where the local government areas repelled invaders in the past as a template to have the locals take over the security of their localities.
Yes, is that the reason why this was actually drafted in? We have seen a mandate that has been given to him to formulate the process of state police. Do you think that state police can actually tame or eliminate terrorist attack that has to do with ideology?
To start with, part of the reason they even remove the man Abetokun is because of his stance against state police. Go understand that at some point in his career as the IG, he presented a memorandum to National Assembly against state police. We understand that the president summoned him to Asurok and told him that the game is up. They're coming to the man this and whether the state police will be a panacea to solving this problem. I will tell you largely that it is going to be a panacea to solving it. This is not far-fetched. But we are looking at a situation where the locals will be drafted into it, and it's been established that all crime is local. So the locals have the intelligence to deal with all of this, actionable ones for that matter. So if you draft the locals into it, draft the traditional rulers, so of course we understand that the traditional rulers have moral authority over the people. So what that does is, once there are intelligence in the hands of the locals, they can easily give such intelligence to their traditional rulers, who can seamlessly relate such with the security agencies who need them for operation to nick crime in the bud. That is the way it works. So intelligence-driven operation is the best approach to fighting this terrorism.
Okay, we are talking about a multifaceted country like Nigeria, where we have Muslim Christians. And Muslims are trying to bring fight to anytime they, in a situation where we have a police who is a Muslim and a state police officer who is also a Christian, and we are seeing this push, in a Christian-dominated state. We are seeing another push in a multi-Christian, Muslim-dominated state. Do you think the approach we are going to have a better approach in those states where you have a state dominated by Muslims, a few Christians, and we have one dominated by Christians, a few Muslims, then you have the one that's almost 50-50, because we are seeing in some states in the southwest here, they are already calling for Sharia and and some other things they believed in. So how do you justify a situation like that?
I will tell you that personally, I'm not going to judge anybody by his faith, rather by competence. That is why when people in the north were calling for the removal of Dwash Amopita, the INEC chairman, on the basis of his faith, I condemned it. I believe that everybody should be allowed to prove his competence. But if somebody is being challenged on the basis of incompetence, I think I can just join such conversation. But on the basis of whether somebody is justified to occupy a position by virtue of his faith, I don't want to join that conversation. It is often better, let's assess you based on their competence and leave issue of religious out of it.
Okay, let us also understand this. Why is the North kicking against state police?
This is not far-fetched. And if you look at those who are kicking against it from the North, they are majorly those of Fulani extraction. They have never hidden the intentional issue. I said it, I often said it, and I continue to repeat it, that when the Senate Committee on Constitutional Review visited Plateau State to have their input into the state, into the constitutional amendment, the governor of Plateau State, Mufan, made a proposal and he proposed state police. The Fulani umbrella body in that state, talking about Mietala, do not waste time rising to say no to state police. But you begin to ask, the same Mietala that will tell you that they want state police, the same Mietala in 2024 went to southeastern part of the country with a proposal to form their own security outfit codenamed Fulani Vigilante. You begin to wonder if the question such impunity. The same Mietala that will tell you they don't want state police, their leader, their national leader, Bode John, have been arrested twice. At the first instance, he was accused of forming vigilante group, arming them without the consent of federal government. He was even put on trial. At some point, in the wisdom of the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, they dropped the charges and they allowed him go. So he was arrested secondly, where he was accused of banditry. At the time, the government secured court order to keep him for 2 months to enable them complete investigation. But all of this, you need to see a group of people that have double standard. But the question is, why are they always the problem anywhere, everywhere in Nigeria? Whether in the northern part of the country, whether in the southern part of the country. Don't forget that at some point we saw a Shea Makinde who raised alarm that the bandits, the terrorists, of course the Fulanis, who were being dispersed from the north, were already hibernating in the southwestern forest. A situation that made the Amateku to raise about 2,000 men to disperse them from the southwestern forest. So for me, I think the reason the North are against the police is because of their selfish interest. Because if you go to look at this open grazing, it has been established and revealed that it's a subtle way of terrorism. Well, what people do, all these people that go about this open grazing with ulterior motive, they go to communities, they look around, they pin down, they wait for time when they can strike, and they strike. So for me, state police is the way to go, and the president, talking about Senator Ahmed Bola Tinubu, should know that Nigerians are with him, particularly the patriotic ones, on this issue.
But what we are seeing, the Northerners are saying that Bola Ahmed Tinubu want to use the state police to attack Fulanis. You know, that is a deliberate and calculated political attempt, you know, to destroy the Fulani agenda in Nigeria, which also gave him the presidency. And that's what they are talking about.
If their intention is to destroy the Fulani, and the intention of those forming state police is to fight terrorism, are they telling us that the Fulanis are the terrorists? It's simple. If they say that the terrorists and the intention of the government is to crush terrorists, then they should accept that fate. But for me, all I know is that every patriotic Nigerian, right-thinking Nigerian is interested in this fight against terrorism. And as to have it, it's simple. We must acquire monopoly of currency power to exploit them out of their hiding places, sell their running and bring them to justice. We must deny them space to operate. That is how it works. You cannot see America, Britain, United Kingdom, Russia, Israel negotiating with bandits the way we negotiate here. The only justifiable situation we see as a person where the government can negotiate with terrorists is if you have Nigerians in captivity and going for their rescue will endanger their lives. At the time of Nazi girls, Chibok girls, even the recent one of Kebbi school girls, and the one that happened in Niger State involving Catholic school children, it's understandable under that circumstance if you negotiate. However, after such negotiation and release, it's expected that you ought to go all out against them. But we don't often see that happen. Thank you.